Hey everybody, welcome back to my True Crime channel. On my True Crime channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell button so you not find an uploading True Crime video. If you are new to True Crime channel, hi, welcome. If you are new to True Crime channel, welcome back. So today's case, I'm going to talk about the case is Selena Quintanilla Perez. You guys know what everybody does know her. She is a singer, a songwriter, actress, model, spokesperson, a businesswoman, and a fashion designer, and she was amazing. She was amazing. She was amazing at singing, and she was have a great bubbly personality. She loves the kids. She was always a friendly type person, and that's who she was. In this video, this case is very heartbreaking and very tragic and very sad. And very, she was gone way too soon. This earth, 20 she died back in 1995 and it's 2021, so 26 years. So she died back in March 31st. It's what, March 29th, tomorrow is March 30th. So on Wednesday, it marks 26 years since she died. That's crazy. She would have been very legendary. Dude, grab your snacks, got your wine, and get to video started. Selena Quintanilla was born on April 16, 1971 in Lake Jackson, Texas. Oh, she's an Aries. She was the youngest child of Marcella Ophelia Quintanilla, who had Cherokee ancestry, and Abraham Quintanilla Jr., who was also a Mexican American former musician. He has been with his boys. I don't know if that lasts long. I don't know. Selena was raised as a whoever's witness. Quintanilla Jr. noticed her musical abilities when she was 6 years old. He told People magazine her timing, her pitch were perfect. I could see it from day one. In 1981, in Lake Jackson, Quintanilla Jr. opened his first Texas Mexican restaurant called Papa's Goyos, where Selena and her siblings Abraham III bass guitar and Sudette Quintanilla on drums, who will often perform every night to get some type of money. Because he forced his kids to play so he could get money to pay rent and pay the restaurant bills and keep the restaurant going. The following year, the restaurant was forced to close after the recession caused by the 1980s oil glut. The family declared bankruptcy and were evicted from their home. They settled in Corpus Christi, Texas. Quintanilla Jr. became manager of the newly formed band called Selena White Los Dinos. It began promoting it. They needed the money and played on street corners, weddings, quinceañeras, and fairs. As her popularity as singer grew, the demands of Selena's performance and Charlotte's schedule began to interfere with her education. Her father took her out of school when she was in the 8th grade. Wow, in the 8th grade. That's only to high school. Her teacher, Marilyn Greer, disapproved of her teacher disapproved Selena's musical career. She threatened to report Quintanilla Jr. to the Texas Board of Education, believing the conditions to which Selena was exposed were inappropriate for a girl to her own age. Quintanilla Jr. told Greer to mind her business. Other teachers expressed their concerns that when they noticed how that tired Selena approved when she arrived at school. At 17, Selena earned a high school diploma from the American School of Correspondence in Chicago and was also accepted at Louisiana State University. She enrolled at Pacific Western University, taking up business administration as her major subject. Oh, she's college educated. I did not know that. That's cool. Quintanilla Jr. refurbished an old bus. He named it Big Bertha, and the band family used it as the tour bus. In the first years of touring, the family sang for good for food and barely had enough money to pay for gasoline. In 1984, Selena recorded her first LP record, Selena White Los Dinos, for Freddie Records. Despite wanting to record English songs, Selena recorded Tejano music, conspires as male-dominated Spanish lineage genre with German influences as polka, jazz, and country music. Selena Jr. believes Selena should record musical compositions related to her heritage. During the recording sessions for the album, Selena had to learn Spanish phonetically with guidance from her father. In 1985, to promote the album, Selena appeared on the Johnny Kimmel Show, a popular Spanish language radio program in which she continued to appear for several years. Selena was discovered by musician Rudy Trevino, founder of the Tejano Music Awards, where she won the Female Vocalist of the Year award in 1987. And for 9 consecutive years after, the band was often turned down by Texas music venues because of the members' ages and because Selena was the lead singer. Her father was often told by promoters that Selena would never be successful because she was a woman in genre in history dominated by men. In 1988, Selena had released 5 more LP records, off of 1986, Menequito de Trapo in 1987, and When It Is 1987, Preciosa 1988, and Doce Amor 1988. Jose Behar of newly formed label EMI Latin Records, together with the new head of Sony Music Latin, while Selena performed at 1989 Tejano Music Awards. Behar was searching for new Latin acts and wanted to sign Selena to EMI's label Capitol Records, while Sony Music Latin offered Quintanilla Jr. twice Capitol signing fee. Behar thought he had discovered the next Gloria Estefan, but his superior called Behar illogical because he had been in South Texas less than a week. Quintanilla Jr. chose EMI Latin's offer because of the potential for a crossover album and wanted his children to be the first musicians to sign to the label. Before Selena began recording for her debut album, Behar and Stephen Pinfair requested a crossover album for her. She recorded 3 English-language compositions for the heads of EMI's pop division. Behar and Pinfair's request for a crossover album was denied, and Selena was told she needed a bigger fan base to sell such an album. Behar thought EMI Records and the public did not believe that Mexican-American women could have crossover potential after Charles Koppelman denied the project. Selena released a self-entitled debut album on October 17, 1989. The singer recorded most of the songs at Amen Studios in San Antonio, Texas. Sukiyaki and My Love were recorded at Sunrise Studios in Houston. Selena wrote My Love and wanted the song to be included on the album. Her brother A.B. became Selena's principal record producer and songwriter for most of her musical career, though did not write the tracks Sukiyaki, Toniko, Quiver, The Star, and No Te Vegas. Sukiyaki was originally recorded in Japanese in the 1960s by Kuro Sakamoto. Selena used a translation into Spanish of an English version of the song by Janice Marie Johnson. Selena peaked at number 7 on the U.S. Billboard Original Mexican Albums chart, becoming Selena's first recording to debut on the national music chart. The album performed better than other recordings from other contemporaries Vima Tejano singers. In the same year, Coca-Cola wanted Selena to become one of their spokespeople in Texas. The jingle used in the first 2 commercials for the company was composed by A.B. and Chris Perez, the latter of whom joined Selena White Los Dinos several months earlier as the band's new guitarist. Perez began having romantic feelings for Selena, despite having a girlfriend in San Antonio. After a trip down to Mexico with the band, Perez thought it would be best for them both to be distanced themselves from her, but he found out that possible and chose to try to build a relationship with her. They expressed their feelings for each other, Pizza Hut restaurant, and shortly afterward becoming a couple. Perez and Selena hired the relationship, fearing Quintanilla Jr. would try to break them up. As y'all know, spies are so freaking protective over their daughter. Like, I just don't understand why want your daughter to be so happy that she found the man of her dreams? That's weird. Selena released her second studio album called Van Comingo in September 1990. These tracks were from Van Comingo released as singles Ya Ves La Trasalera and Bella Este Cumbia. The latter of Chicano Cumbia's song became one of Selena's most successful singles. Its popularity grew in Mexico, where a compilation album featuring the single's name was released there, which was certified platinum by the Association Mexican de Productores de Fonogramas y Videogramas. A registered nurse in Yolanda Saldivar, which we want to get that to a little bit right, because I don't like that. I don't like that lady. I'm trying to, because I don't like that lady at all. Saldivar had the idea after she had attended one of Selena's concerts. Cantillon Jr. approved Saldivar's request. He believed that the fan club would bring more exposure for the band. Saldivar soon became close friends with Selena and the family. She was trusted and became the acting president of the fan club in 1991. That same year, Salvadorian singer Alvaro Torres composed a duet he wanted to record with Selena. The song Buenos Amigos was produced by Enrique Elizondo and was released on Torres' 10th studio album called Nada Se Compara Contigo in 1991. Buenos Amigos peaked at number one of the US Billboard Top Latin Songs chart, giving Selena her first number one single. The song's music video earned Selena and Torres two nominations at the 1992 Billboard Music Awards. The track was also nominated for Duo of the Year at the 1992 Tejano Music Awards. Biographer Deborah Paredes wrote that the track enabled Selena to tour the West and East Coast of the United States. According to John Leonard of Billboard magazine, Buenos Amigos was helped by increased airplay on regional Mexican and Tejano radio stations, which has previously dismissed Selena's recordings. Selena's sister Suzette found Selena and Perez flirting with each other and immediately informed their father. Quintanilla Jr. took Perez off the bus and told him that his relationship with Selena was over. Selena and Perez continued their relationship despite Quintanilla Jr.'s approval. Selena's mother, Marcela, approved of the relationship. Quintanilla Jr. saw Selena and Perez romantically together on the bus after he informed them of his disapproval. Over in an argument between Quintanilla Jr. and Selena ensued. He called Perez a cancer in my family and threatened to disband the group if they continue their relationship. I don't understand how he's a cancer or a what disgrace in your family just because he flirted with your daughter. I understand that's your daughter, but your daughter is grown as hell. She is an adult woman. You got a wife too, you got kids, all y'all are a bunch of adults. Why can't she find love? That's so weird. You done to your one daughter, but you got a daughter and a son. Why are you tripping because she's romantically dating a band member of the group? I mean, I ain't saying you don't trust him, but he's saying he's a good guy, but I don't understand why you don't even trust him with your own daughter. I ain't saying you're trying to gain trust, but I just hate overprotected ass parents to the kids when they get older. It is like, bro, it is like she's 20 years old. She's an adult. She can make her own decisions. She don't need to ask you to be with him just so you could make your approval. So Perez and Selena secretly continued their relationship. On the morning of April 2nd, 1992, Selena and Perez decided to elope, believing Quintanilla Jr. would never approve the relationship. Within hours of their marriage, the media announced the couple's okay. Selena and family tried to find her. Quintanilla Jr. did not take the news well and eliminated himself for some time. Selena and Perez moved to an apartment in Corpus Christi, Texas. In interviews, Quintanilla Jr. expressed how he feared Perez could be a machista, Spanish for a male chauvinist who would force Selena to end her career in musicals, which he didn't. Why would he ever do that? In a move that prevented Quintanilla Jr. to accept Perez as being suitable for Selena at the time. Quintanilla Jr. later approached Perez, apologized, and accepted the marriage and took Perez back to the band. As he should, okay? A month after her elopement, Selena released her third studio album called Entre a Mi Mundo in May 1992. The album was critically acclaimed as her breakthrough album. The recording peaked at number one of the U.S. Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart for 8 consecutive months. It was certified 10X IRAA for sales of 600,000 album equivalent units, while in Mexico, the album sold 385,000 units. Andre Ami Mundo became the first Tejano album by a female artist to sell over 300,000 copies. That's crazy. Selena was booked for a high-profile border press tour in Monterrey, Mexico, with music media types and meet and greet conference. At the time, Tejanos were looked down on as high-seed puchos among Mexican citizens. The singer's Spanish was far from fluent. EMI and other executives were terrified about the singer's Latin Spanish during the press conference for the album in Mexico. According to Potosky, Selena played her cards right during the conference and run over the Mexican media after newspapers hailed her as an artist of the people. The newspapers found her to be a refreshing change from Mexican telenovela actors who wear fair-skinned, blonde hair, and green-eyed. After her publicity press, Selena was booked to play at several concerts throughout Mexico, including a performance at Festival Acapulco in May 1993, which garnered her critical acclaim. Her performance in Nuevo Leon on September 17, 1993 was attended by 70,000 people, garnering her the title of biggest Tejano act in Mexico. The album produced 4 singles: Como la Flor, Que Crecias, La Cachacha, and Aname. Como la Flor became Selena's signature recording. It was critically acclaimed by music critics at its career launch for Selena. Como la Flor helped Selena to dominate the Latin music charts and become immediately popular in Mexico, where Mexican Americans were generally not liked among citizens, which was well received by critics. The track was nominated for the Song of the Year at the 1993 Tejano Music Awards. The single peaked at number 6 on the U.S. Billboard Latin Songs chart. In 1994, Entre Mi Mundo ranked as the second best selling regional Mexican album of all time. Selena released live a year after Entre Mi Mundo. It was recorded during a free concert at the Memorial Coliseum in Corpus Christi on February 7, 1993. The album included previously released tracks that were sung live in 3 studio recordings: No Debes Jugar and La Balamana, and 2 Robusta Mi Corazon, a duet with Tejano musician Emilio Navarro. The tracks No Debes Jugar and La Balamana peaked within top 5 on the U.S. Billboard Top Latin Songs chart. In 1994, Tejano Music Awards Live won Album of the Year, while at the 1994 Lo Nuestro Awards, it was nominated for Original Mexican Album of the Year. Live was certified gold by the RIAA for shipments of 500,000 copies, while in Mexico it was sold 250,000 units. Selena briefly appeared opposite of Eric Estrada in a Mexican telenovela titled Dos Mujeres Un Camino. In 1995, she entered negotiations to the star in telenovela produced by Emilio La Rosa. She appeared in 2 episodes, which gained recording ratings for the series. Aside from music, in 1994, Selena began designing and manufacturing a line of clothing. She opened two boutiques called Selena, etc., one in Corpus Christi and the other one in San Antonio. Both were equipped with in-house beauty salons. By the end of 1994, Selena, etc., had two fashion shows to showcase their fashion clothing line. Selena Selena held a concert at the Selena etc. second fashion show on December 3rd, 1994 at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio. She was in negotiations to open more stores in Monterrey, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. Saldivar managed both boutiques after the Quintanilla family were impressed with the way she managed her fan club. Hispanic Business magazine reported that the singer earned over $5 million from these two boutiques. That's a lot of money. She was ranked among the 12 wealthiest Hispanic musicians who rose to the highest income 1993-1994. Selena released her first studio album called More Prohibido in March of 1994. The recording debuted at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard Top Latin Albums chart and number 1 of the U.S. Billboard Regional Mexican Albums chart. At the beginning, number 1 on the top Latin music albums, the album remained in the top 5 of the early in 1995. And More Prohibido became the second Tejano album to reach year-end sales of 500,000 copies, which had previously only been accomplished by La Mafia. The album's commercial success led to a Grammy nomination for the Best Mexican/American Album of the at the 37th Grammy Awards in 1995. It was Record of the Year at the 1995 Tejano Music Awards and Regional Mexican Album of the Year at the 1995 Lo Nuestro Awards. Selena was named one of the Latin music's most successful tour acts during her More Prohibido tour. That's crazy. The the Quintanilla family appointed Yolanda Saldivar as manager of Selena's boutiques in early 1994. 8 months later, Selena signed Saldivar as her registered agent in San Antonio, Texas. After the agreement, Saldivar moved from San Antonio to Corpus Christi to be closer to Selena. In December 1994, the boutique began to suffer after the number of staff for both stores and had decreased. According to staff members, Saldivar often dismissed employees she disliked. Employees at the stores regularly complained about Saldivar's behavior to Selena, who dismissed the claims believing Saldivar would not negatively impose erratic decisions on Selena's fashion venture, which means she was so naive, she was blind that Saldivar did steal from her boutique, steal from company, then was stealing money from her and from her fan club, which is so sad and shocking. Like, I would never steal anybody's money for somebody's fan club, especially a fan of somebody. I would never steal their money, period. According to Quintanilla Jr., the staff later turned their attention to him and began informing him about Saldivar's behavior. Quintanilla Jr. took the claims very seriously. He told Selena to be very careful and said Saldivar might not be a good influence, but she was not. Selena dismissed her father's inquiries because he had often disrupted people in the past. By January 1995, Selena's fashion designer Martine Gomez, her cousin Deborah Ramirez, and clients had expressed their concerns over Saldivar's behavior and management skills. And during an interview with South Bar in 1995, reporters from the Dallas Morning News said her devotion to Selena aborted an obsession, meaning she was obsessed with her, like super duper obsessed with her. I remember in the interview he said that he walked in her house. He said that she has shrines of pictures and candles of Selena everywhere, and that's a red flag thing. There's something wrong with her. She's crazy. She's firing people. She's so obsessed. And if people wanted to go with Selena, they had to go through her. That makes no sense. Like, there's obviously something wrong with her. Obviously, something wrong with her. According to Quintanilla Jr., during 1995, he began receiving telephone calls from the fans who said they had paid for membership in the Selena fan club and had received nothing in return for it. He also began an investigation as well. Quintanilla Jr. discovered that Saldivar had embezzled more than $30,000 in via forged checks from both of the fan clubs and the boutiques. Quintanilla Jr. held a meeting with Selena and Suzette on the night of March 9th at Q Productions to confront Saldivar. Quintanilla Jr. pressed Saldivar with the inconsistencies about the disappeared funds. Quintanilla Jr. told her that if she did not provide evidence that disproved his accusations, he would file the local police, have her arrested. Quintanilla Jr. banned Saldivar from having any contact with Selena. However, Selena did not want to dissolve their friendship. She thought Saldivar was essential to the success of the clothing line in Mexico. Selena also wanted to keep her clothes because she had bank records, statements, and financial records necessary for tax preparation. In days before Selena's death, Saldivar delayed handing over the bank statements and financial records by saying she had been physically and sexually assaulted in Mexico. Saldivar, along with Selena, appeared at a medical clinic on March 31st, 1995, the morning of the murder that happened. Ostensibly, Batas Saldivar condemned for an insult, which she claimed happened to her in Monterey. During that visit, Saldivar was given a brief physical examination by the clinic's doctor, but this did not include a gynecological exam specifically done in cases of sexual assault. It was suggested by nurse Carla Anthony that Saldivar needed to have the rape exam in San Antonio for three reasons. Saldivar was a resident in San Antonio. The clinic they were currently at was in Corpus Christi, and the assault occurred in Mexico. Afterwards, Selena again met with Saldivar in a motel room on Days Inn in Corpus Christi. At the motel, Selena demanded the financial papers. At 11:20 a.m., Saldivar got a gun from her purse, pointed at her as Selena, because the both was arguing about the financial papers. And as when Selena said, "I don't need you anymore," she took the ring off. And as for Yolanda, she pointed the gun out, pointing at her. As when Selena, she ran to the door, and as when she shot her once in the back of her shoulder temple. As Selena intended to flee, Saldivar shot her once on the right lower shoulder, severing an artery and causing a severe loss of blood. And even when she was running, she was chasing Selena afterwards to call her a bitch and walk back. That's insane. Critically wounded, Selena ran towards the lobby, leaving 319 feet along a trail of blood. She collapsed on the floor as the clerk called the emergency services, with Saldivar still chasing after her, calling her a bitch. After collapsing, Selena named Saldivar as her assailant and gave the number of the room where she had been shot at. Meanwhile, Saldivar attempted to leave in her pickup truck. She was, however, spotted by a responding police cruiser. She surrendered after nearly 9.5 hours standoff with the police and the FBI. 9 hours? Like, you just told me that you stand there for 9 whole hours? 9 hours? That's insane. Selena was dead on arrival at Corpus Christi Memorial Hospital. The attending emergency room physician decided to attempt to retrieve her and revive her. Carter cardiologist Louis Elkin continued the treatment, performed surgery based on emergency room physician's decision. Doctors were able to establish an erratic heartbeat long enough to transfer her to the trauma room. After 50 minutes of surgery, she was pronounced dead from blood loss and cardiac arrest at 1:05 p.m. That's so sad. It is like she didn't deserve to die like that. I feel like this should never ever happen. Even the night before, she went with her husband to go pick up the financial papers. There was no arguing or nothing, and that's when she went to go get the papers, and that's when she realized the financial stuff wasn't there, and that's when she went to confront Ilana again, and that's when this all happened. This tragedy happened. And that's when they charged Giovanna Saldivar with first degree murder because she wrote down a piece of paper confessing to everything, but later she had an attorney and saying the shooting was an accident. How you gonna shoot was an accident? Ain't no way you gonna shot somebody by accident without pulling your freaking trigger. You can have a sense of force of pulling your trigger like this, and you shot somebody. Doesn't make any sense. And that's when they had a funeral for her on April 2nd, 1995. That's the day of Selena and Chris Perez's third wedding anniversary. That is so sad. That's crazy how you can spend one day with somebody you love, and you find out they died, and then on your wedding anniversary, y'all both spend together. You having a funeral. That's heartbreaking to me. That's so sad. Even I watched the video of her funeral, and like, that's so heartbreaking. In October 1995, a Houston jury convicted Saldivar of first-degree murder and sentenced her to life in prison with a policy parole after 30 years in prison. It should be later released in 2025, which is about 4 years. She not gonna last that long. She ain't gonna last that long. She not, because there's a lot of people who still have hate for Ilana, as they should, because she killed somebody who was a spokesperson, a business person. She loves kids. She loves to be a free spirited person. She was very outgoing, and she just did not deserve that happen to her. And she was only what, like 23. She died like a few weeks before her birthday. She dies a few days before her wedding anniversary. And I heard that they remembered that she was on her way to go to the doctor so that she could, could start having kids. Because her grandma started talking about having kids and having a farm. That's so sad to hear that. Oh, and also 2 years after her death, they make a movie called Selena, which was performed by Jennifer Lopez. She did a great job. I watched that movie like 5 times. I still watch it till to this day, and that movie was shocking. And NASA also released a single hit called "I Can Fall in Love and Dream on You" on August of 1995. That's all I got for this video. Is watching today's true crime video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys till the next true crime video. Bye, guys.